Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching us BQ on Bloomberg Quint Live. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Hey Navneet. Well, I'm Alex Matthew, and if you've got questions on equity, then you know where to send them. You can send them to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. You can also call us on 022-454-04141, or you can mail us on askbq@bloombergquint.com. Just make sure to add the AskBQ hashtag. Big day today for the political sphere, but the markets seem to be pretty much where they were.
Yeah, nothing's happening as the first phase of the polling has started today. But remember, today is also Thursday, so we've got the weekly options expiry. Expect some bit of volatility maybe in the second half of the session. But before we get to the individual queries, let's tell you what exactly is happening with the markets. Nothing major. Nifty is down just about 6 points. Remember, yesterday closed below that mark of 11,600. Bank Nifty is also inched lower by almost 40 points as we speak. The India Volatility Index, however, is inching very closer to its 52-week high, which is somewhere about 22.5. So right now, that's also in the flattish territory, pretty much indicating there's nothing happening in the markets right now. With the expiry, you can expect a bit of volatility. What range to expect? Do watch out for 11,550 on the downside for Nifty, and also for Bank Nifty, which closed below the mark of 30,000 yesterday. Probably watch out for that level of 29,600 or 700. That's where the maximum action is taking place. Talking about the broader markets, pull up the market breadth. Last when I checked, it was in favor of the decline. So right now, mid-cap index is just about flat. Small cap up almost 5 points, and the market breadth will actually give you a better picture as to what's happening with the entire listed universe. As you can see on your screen, it is in favor of the declines. Nifty contributors chart will tell you which are the stocks which are not letting the markets move today. So it is dominated, Alex, by the heavyweights. NP comes out with the numbers tomorrow. ICICI Bank, TCS also comes out with the numbers. So watch out for that one. Support coming in from HDFC Bank, which is down 2% after a block deal yesterday. Reliance Industries also trading in the positive territory. And also the metals index, that's your biggest laggard when it comes to the sectoral indices. You've got stocks like Vedanta and JSPL, which have seen selling pressure coming by. Vedanta down almost 4%. That's your biggest loser when it comes to the Nifty stocks. JSPL down 3.5%. Holding up, however, in the green is the Nifty Auto Index. Some bit of support has come in from Ashok Leyland. But talking about the individual counters, you've got the NBFC as a pack, which is doing well. And I was just looking at the data on the future side. A lot of long positions and OI buildup has come in for stocks like Manappuram Finance, also something like Ujjivan Financial, which saw some long positions yesterday. Manappuram Finance is up 7%, and also Muthoot Finance, that's perked up in trade. Long positions, if you look at the futures of all these three stocks, have seen Manappuram Finance, OI is up almost 45%. Okay. The other stocks work hard on back of news. They've received an approval from US FDA for a cancer drug. That's perking up in trade. And something like Amritanjan Healthcare, that's also up 7%. On the losing side, just one stock I want to highlight, and solely on basis of the F&O trend. Some short positions today, Alex, have been seen for Jubilant Foodworks. That's down 2%.
All right. Well, on that note, let's get our two experts in for the day. We've got Ashish Kelkar of Kiran, Jadhav and Associates, and we've also got Sandeep Jain of Tradeswift Broking, who are here to answer all of your questions. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. I'm going to start with a longer-term query. This one's for you, Sandeep. Vivek Kanodia has identified two stocks, Page Industries and Eicher Motors, for the long term. He's wondering which of these two counters, and he says that he can choose only one. He's thinking of doing an SIP for the long term. Which of these two would you suggest that he get into?
Out of these two, I think he can go for Page Industries. Somehow both are very good long-term stories, and they have been doing extremely well in creating wealth for their shareholders. But still, Page Industries somehow is more convincing than the story of Eicher Motors. Somehow there has been a management change also. Somehow the management, Mr. Vinod Dasari has joined Eicher Motor, and the day he announced his exit from Ashok Leyland crashed. But somehow I won't appreciate the entry of Vinod Dasari in Eicher Motor. Reason being, Siddharth Lal was somehow more appreciated as a key person managing the show for the company. But still, somehow I feel that Page Industries is a better bet than Eicher Motors, because in two-wheelers and auto sector there are some other bets also which one can go for, as their valuations are much cheaper than Eicher Motors. So Page Industries is a bit expensive stock though, but then since he has a long-term view, he can still hold the stock and he can buy the stock and do some SIP.
Sandeep, very quickly, since we touched upon the topic of Ashok Leyland as well, there's a query on that one. Would you recommend buying into that stock on a longer term horizon?
Oh yes, oh yes. Somehow I like the stock. In fact, the kind of balance sheet, the kind of changes the company made. So somehow all these are actually giving results. And though the auto sector is not doing well, but then it has given a good bounce back from its lows. So there is very less to lose, and the valuations are very attractive now. The risk reward ratio is also very good. So one can really start, accumulating the stock at the lower levels and at these levels also for longer term.
All right, Alagya Nambi, I hope that answers your question. Some of you ask for fundamental picks and list exactly 4 or 3 or 5 stocks. I don't understand why you choose the number. Anyway, Shrikant, on the other hand, wants to know about short-term or stocks that would likely perform in the short term, and he wants 4. Shrikant wants 4. So, Ashish, I'm coming to you. On the charts, do you have 4 stocks exactly that you can pick up that are likely to do well in the short term?
See, basically, as of now, I have got 2 stocks, and both are from the pharma industry. The first one is Strides Pharma Sciences. See, this stock is making higher tops and higher bottoms, and it has already been corrected. This is a good level to buy this particular counter. My first target for this stock is around 525, and the second target would be 535. Currently, it is trading at around 497. So, if we hold this stock, say, for 1.5 weeks, definitely we can see the stock at around 525 and 535. The second stock on my radar is Ipca Lab. If we look at Ipca Lab overall chart structure, it is corrected, it is in a tight range, but definitely the chart is expecting a fresh breakout in this particular counter, and my first target would be around 1010 within next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so those are 2 picks on a shorter term horizon coming in from Ashish, that's Strides, Shasun and Ipca Lab. Sandeep, I'm going to come to you. Similar query, but on a longer term horizon. Sivakumar says, suggest 5 mid-cap stocks with fantastic management pedigree and also known for exceptional leadership. Have you identified any stocks in the mid-cap space which, as per valuation and also keeping in mind the management pedigree, look good at current levels?
Somehow we have been recommending lots of mid caps and small caps. So some of the mid caps which I can recommend at these levels is, one is RCF, which I've been recommending since quite a long time. Reason being, there is very less to lose. So that's very important that, you never lose money. So RCF is at a very, very good price, very attractive price. Markets have gone up, but still RCF is at the same levels it used to be, because PSU stocks somehow are underperformers over the period. But then RCF, Amrutanjan, it's up today, but then I really like the stock, the way the company has actually diversified its portfolio. So it will certainly bear fruits in the long run. So one can look at Amrutanjan. Then there is a good company called Hikal, Hikal. I really like that stock, and somehow it's a Baba Kalyani group related company. He is also in the board. So Hikal is a good company again. Then one can look at companies like, say, Vardhaman Textiles, again, is a very good value pick, a good management, and somehow it is doing well. Then there is a small stock, small company, 480 crore market cap, Vidhi. Somehow it's a fantastic company exporting its products to 80 countries, and they are into natural and synthetic dyes and food colors. So it's a fantastic company again, and very available at a very good level. So I think one can go for Vidhi also.
Oh, okay. I don't think you gave 5 names. In fact, I think there were several more than that. But we've got another question for you, Sandeep. This one is on Bajaj Consumer Care. We've got Vignesh asking whether or not there is potential for this counter to grow based on its fundamentals. It's up about 2% or thereabouts in trade, but for the year so far, it's lost about 12% of its value. So he's asking if this is a good level to enter in for the long term.
See, this is one stock which I really used to recommend, and from there it went up to 400 plus levels also. But recently there was a big crack in the stock, and then we went into the balance sheet, and we generally at times, when the crack happens, then you start again, getting into your research where, things have gone wrong. So one thing which I disliked in the balance sheet was the shares pledged by the promoters. In an FMCG company, it is very unusual, because see, you don't need to pledge. But then somehow I feel that, this is a cash cow of that particular Bajaj group. So, and they have been, pledging their stocks to invest somewhere else. And somehow they are using some mineral oils also in their products. So I think, there is a point to ponder upon, and one should actually not buy at even these levels. There are some better stocks, and if he really has to go in the FMCG bet only, so ITC really looks very attractive at these levels. Again, though it's 295, I started recommending from 250, 60, still it looks very attractive, less to lose. Then Britannia really looks good after its entry in the Nifty. Somehow it has not performed, but over the period in 2 to 3 months, 4 months time, certainly it will perform. So I think these are the two bets one can really look at.
Sandeep, very quickly, while we're on the topic of pledge shares and promoter pledges, especially when it comes to investments in entities that are not related to the company in which the pledge is being made, how do you rate that? How do you look at that? Because that is the big conversation right now. If you talk about the entire SL Group case, as an investor, is that something that is a big red flag for you?
Very big red flag. In fact, we really start avoiding those stocks. It was just Tata's which actually, rightly used their pledge shares to, Tata Motors used their pledging to fund their acquisition of Jaguar. But somehow, the other companies could not do that. And there are lots of big corporates and there are lots of small corporates who have actually pledged their stake and invested somewhere else, in that too much into real estate where the actually money goes dead. So somehow I don't appreciate that. It's a big no from our side. Whichever group it is, we won't appreciate promoters pledging their stock to fund something else. Though if they reuse it in some way or the other in their own company for the growth of the particular company only, then it's fine. But otherwise, even that also is not acceptable, and otherwise it's not at all acceptable.
Okay, let's get to some short-term queries now. Ujjwal Kumar writes to us and he wants a view on NMDC as well as Can Fin Homes. Remember, NMDC has been in news because their March numbers did not look great at all. The sales number were down 13% on year-on-year basis also. I think for the year it's down 10%, and that's the reason precisely why the stock was seeing some bit of selling pressure. Can Fin Homes, let's just pull up that counter and see what's that doing in today's trading session. It's up almost 0.7%, but it's had a good run-up actually last 6 months. It's up almost 45%. Ashish, for both the stocks, NMDC as well as Can Fin Homes, from a shorter term horizon, would you recommend taking any trade here? If yes, also if you could help out with the levels?
Definitely. If you look at NMDC, if someone is holding the stock, I would recommend to hold on with a strict stop loss of 100, because 100 is a level from where the stock is always giving us a bounce back, and the higher side it goes to around 110. So this time, by looking at the volumes and the shadow indicators, I feel that at 100 once again we will have a bounce back. And if 108 is taken off, then definitely the next target would be 116. So if someone is holding the stock, hold with a strict stop loss of 100. And if someone is not holding and want to have a fresh entry, then he should or she should enter only above 108. That's the recommendation for NMDC. The second is Can Fin Home. Can Fin Home, the overall chart structure, if we look at the overall chart structure, definitely it is making higher tops and higher bottoms. If someone wants to buy at this current level, definitely go ahead and buy. If someone buys at this current level, then the strict stop loss should be at around 342. This is a positional call, and the first target for this particular counter would be 372.
All right, 372 is a level that you have to watch out for, but strict stop loss at 342. We've got another question for you, Ashish. This one is from Avinash Chitnis on Facebook. He wants to know about Vedanta. Let's pull up the stock and see where it's currently trading. He's bought at levels of 205, so he's losing some ground in this counter. In fact, in today's trade itself, the stock is down about 4%, which is a sizable drop. On the charts, how do you see, what are the levels that you think it will achieve in the short term? He, in fact, wants to hold only for the next 3 months.
See, basically, overall chart structure is totally bearish. The price is making lower tops and lower bottoms, and the shadow indicators are also negative. Only one positive thing on the chart is it is currently trading at one level where the base formation is happening. If this base formation is taken off, if this level is breached, then the further fall is expected, and this important level for this particular counter is 172. If 172, 170 is taken off, then definitely the stock we can see at around 145 levels as well. So if he has a risk appetite and he is ready to hold for the next 3 months, definitely I would recommend to hold with a 6 stop loss of 170, and a good rally is expected only above 194. So if he is ready to hold for next 3 months and ready to take a further risk of 10 rupees, I would recommend to hold.
Okay, that's Vedanta for you. Under pressure in today's trade, the top loser among the nifty stocks. The other one, actually there are a lot of queries pouring in. Saurabh Pathak writes to us. He has a query on LIC Housing. Let's just pull up that stock. He's got 5,000 shares at a price of 580 with a longer term view, and I think the current price, yeah, it's below that. It's 530 around. Sandeep, what would you suggest Saurabh to do? He's into making losses right now. Would you suggest him to stay put in LIC Housing? Do you think it's the best play when it comes to the housing finance companies?
If not the best, certainly a great pick, in fact, in the HFC segment. And somehow I have been recommending this stock from 490 levels, and it went up to 550 levels. And then from there, actually, it is facing a good resistance, and profit booking happened and it has come down. But then the way the rate cuts have been done in this particular year, calendar year, 2 times, and they have not been passing on that way, the way they should have been. And they are still delaying that. So I think it will really increase their profitability because the cost of funds is going down for them. And somehow I feel that, LIC HFL being a great pedigree and the kind of rural presence they have, I think it is one of the safest bets. And looking at the valuations also, I feel really comfortable to hold this stock for the longer term. So I think he should certainly continue to hold for the longer term. He shouldn't bother.
Okay, another stock that is buzzing in trade today is Kenametal India. In fact, our viewer Mayank Saraf points out that the stock is at an all-time high, which indeed it is at 1,178, about 2.5% higher in trade today. He bought at much lower levels. So he's bought 1,500 shares at 675. He's been holding for 2 years, and he says that he wants to, or he's considering adding more for the next 2 to 3 years. Sandeep, just based on your reading of this counter and how it's been doing, the stock is at an all-time high today. Investors making a lot of money, thinking of getting in at these levels for the next 2 to 3 years. Does that make sense?
Can you repeat the name of the stock?
We're talking about Kenametal India.
Okay. Somehow, see, I will not be, confident enough to recommend or comment on this stock because I don't really track this stock.
Okay, fair enough. We'll quickly take a view on the charts then. Obviously, Ashish, you may not be able to give us a very long-term outlook, but at least on the on the charts right now, the levels that you're seeing, all-time highs as of now, what are the resistance levels that you're seeing?
See, as of now, I am also not able to open the chart. Give me another 2-3 minutes. After this next question, I will answer this.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay, so next query can be on Tata Motors DVR. Ayush Jain writes to us on YouTube. He's got 20,000 shares of Tata Motors DVR at an average price of 215, and he's got a longer term time horizon. He's asking what to do. Remember, he's mentioned DVR at an average rate of 215. The current price is 103. Sandeep, we've seen a good move in the last few trading sessions with regard to Tata Motors, a stock which was not doing well until last 6 to 8 months. Keeping in mind the current move and the future prospects of the company as well, what would you suggest somebody who's taken a position already in Tata Motors DVR and the current price is way below than the buy price?
Yeah, he bought DVRs at the prices of the main share.
Main share right now, yeah.
Yeah, so he has lost a big amount of money, and in fact, he has a very huge quantity also. What I'll suggest is, since he has a very huge quantity, he can, consult his broker, or we can consult an advisor, wherein he can really think of, doing some hedging through options, wherein he can sell options or calls of the higher prices to minimize his cost. Because see, to stay for a longer period in Tata Motors, it will really take time to reach his price. But then since Tata Motors DVR is a better bet than Tata Motors main share somehow from my point of view also. So I would rather suggest him to explore an option based strategy, selling calls every month, because it's a huge quantity. That way he will get some interest also and he'll reduce the cost also. But he should look at some exit also at some point, not to wait for his price to come, because it will not that easy for Tata Motors to, outperform this much. So because it has also given a very good run up from 150 levels to these 215 levels, the main share I'm talking about. So he has to be actually doing some different kind of planning to stay invested in.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's check with Ashish. Ashish, do you have Kena Metal up for us?
I'm not able to open the chart.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I cannot answer.
No problem. Let me take another query then. We've got a query on, okay, let's look at NBCC, and this is a long-term query. I'll have to go back to Sandeep on this one. We've got another investor who's bought a substantial amount of shares. The stock is currently trading at 61.4. Shubham Garg has bought 35,000 shares of NBCC at an average rate of 95. Sandeep, again, a substantial acquisition of shares at a price that is just about 25% higher than the current market price. What should he do in this situation?
I would really appreciate the kind of holdings all these queries are having, all these actually viewers are having, and they are actually big holdings. And somehow I feel that when you are holding these number of shares of a particular stock, so he certainly, the way I recommended for Tata Motors DVR, I think NBCC is also in the FNO segment, and PSU stocks somehow really move in a typical tight range. And NBCC is a great company. Somehow it's doing very well. Fantastic order book position. It has also corrected, and the downside risk is also very low. But then reaching his prices might be difficult. So what he can do is he can start again exploring some option selling strategy, higher out of the money options, where he can at least minimize his cost and he can get buy time to hold these shares. And the day they started trying to be the rescue agent for the government, Amrapali and all these things came into the picture. Somehow the company has not been performing well since those days. So I feel it will take time, but then it's a very good price to hold. But I would again suggest not to average even at these levels. He should explore some other real estate opportunities like Mahindra Life Spaces. I feel that it's a good North Indian play where and recently the commercial space is really going up. It is going at a very good space, the leasing commercial space. So somehow I feel Mahindra Life Spaces can be a good bet. Then the south-based stocks like Prestige Estate. So he should explore some diversification in the real estate space.
Okay, that's Prestige Estates for you, not doing too much. We're running out of time, so we'll quickly move on to our next segment, which is the rapid fire. We'll try and accommodate as many queries as possible. Just a request to our experts, keep your answers short. The first one, I'm going to take it to you, Ashish. Divan Housing, one of the viewers is holding at 133. He's asking if you should book profit, add, hold or hold at current levels. Currently, it's 173, and I think his buy price is 133.
Definitely hold on. The next target is 181 and the second target is 187. Keep a stop loss at around 168.
Okay, Sandeep, do you have a view on Polyplex? Vartik Jain wants to know if he should continue holding at 500 rupees.
I think he can hold the share. Somehow it's a good value pick. There are lots of good fundamental views about the company. Reason being the amount of cash the company is holding, and then the valuations the company is trading. So,
okay.
Right, Sandeep, one-line answer if it's possible.
We're just trying to accommodate a lot more queries. Sandeep, the next one is also for you. Titan, somebody is bought at 800, making money. He wants to know what to do.
Yeah, he can hold on to the share.
Fair enough. 1 year technical view on Century Ply. This one's for you, Ashish. The question is, should they make a fresh entry?
Yes, definitely one can go ahead and buy at the current level. Keep a stop loss at 181. If we get a bounce back at 100 from 181, then definitely the next target would be 192 and second target would be 200.
Okay, Sandeep, this question is directed to you from our viewer Margesh. He's holding HDFC AMC at 1700. He wants your views. The current price is somewhere about 1550.
He can hold. That's what I can recommend for the longer term.
Okay, hold. Okay, Sterlite Technologies, Sandeep, has corrected sharply since the last couple of months or so. Saurabh Bidwai wants to know, he's not given us his current holding level, but he wants to know if he should average at current levels.
No, I will advise him not to average. There are some corporate governance issues, so I feel that, he should be cautious.
Okay, stay away. Pull up ICICI Prudential. Rishabh has bought 7,000 shares at an average price of 390 for long term. He wants to know what to do. 365 is the current level. Sandeep, do you like ICICI Pru? Is it a hold?
Somehow it's a hold, but again for a very longer term. Somehow it's not a very attractive price to buy at these levels. It's a hold.
All right. Well, on that note, that's all we have time for in this particular edition of Ask PQ. Thanks so much for our guests rather. Thanks so much Ashish and Sandeep for helping our viewers with their queries today.
Okay, and with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Ask BQ. But remember, we're just a tweet, post or a call away, so please keep your queries coming, and we promise to address all of them through our shows. For all our previous episodes, visit our YouTube channel or website bloombergquint.com. Stay tuned. Up next is Power Lunch.
What is the